So we're jumping back on another backtesting video of our sort of updated strategy. It's been a little while since I've done my last video, just through life being in the way and things going on. So this is going to be more like a sort of backtesting, but getting me back up to date. Just reminding myself of obviously how I'm trading. So yeah, this is obviously our little trading plan. I don't really need it up there, so I don't have it on when I'm trading live, but for the sake of backtesting and obviously me not being in the swing of things where I've been away from the charts, we can just keep up there. So I'm just going to go back over the day again. We're starting off on the 10th of April, just like normal, where we started every month roughly, on every pair even. So let's backtest. We're doing Chef JPY. Yeah, and we're just going to go through some data and just sort of just gain some confidence back. I did take one trade this week, I believe on Tuesday, and got 2R confirmed, closed before the overnight session in Asia. So that was real nice. And I can do a breakdown on that video after as well, just to go over the trade. I've also got quite a lot of journaling for that trade, which was real nice because I was able to be at the screen and sit there and actually put in my data and things like that. So yeah, so I'm going to get some data done and yeah, just get myself back into the swing of things. Right, so let's get on with it. So little FVG opened up here, didn't tag in. We have now tagged in. So now obviously I need to get the levels drawn on. And then we just sort of, again, it's very, very simple. We're just waiting for a 1 hour 1 hour confirmation, and then obviously look for a trade. But it may happen, it may not. It doesn't really matter either way. We're looking for that nice engulfing candle after a sweep. So we have had the sweep here. We did engulf, but it was obviously pre-Asia, so I wouldn't even be trading the charts at that time. Obviously, it has to be during the session. So we're now in the next day. Obviously, we know we did respect the daily level at this point, so we can just continue to look for them bullish setups. The bias doesn't change. Going into London, we look for a sweep. We didn't quite sweep the session low, or this, or this. So even though we have engulfed here, I wouldn't be taking any trades to the upside. Potentially something in New York. Let's see. We're coming lower. We've obviously respected the daily level once again, so we can still look for bullish moves, but it's not much happened so far. Where are we up to? Thursday, yeah, so Tuesday, Monday printed a little bit lower. Tuesday, Wednesday didn't really do much at all. So here we're looking for London. Engulf, it didn't happen. No real liquidity sweep other than the little Asia session here as well, which ultimately is inside this 1 hour Fibonacci gap. So if there was an engulfing candle, we could have taken it. We do get one at the start of New York, but we haven't swept anything. So there's been no liquidity sweep in the opposing direction. So no valid trade, hence why it's been very slow. Like this whole day was very consolidating, as we can see. Again, we've still respected that daily level, so it's still valid for long setups. We'd like to see Asia and a lot, probably all of this liquidity get taken during London to go higher. Price wants to run up on London, which is not really what we want because that's in the direction we want to go. And then nothing happens. So now we'll be going into the next week as well. The daily level has still respected that daily fair value gap, so we can still look for longs depending on where we open up on the new week, obviously. Is it a new week? Yeah, so we've opened up pretty much where we was with no real gaps at all. Oh, that was, sorry, that's because this was the week, so that was a Monday. So it was quite a slow Monday. Let's see if we can get some sort of setup. London swept all them lows now as well. So if we got an engulfing candle now, that would be valid. We haven't. Okay, so there's still nothing. New York. Okay, so we have swept London in this New York candle. Sorry, just before New York, we swept London, and then this candle here has swept this current session low and looking to go higher. We are quite deep in this daily level now, so I mean, you could enter off this next candle and see where price goes. I'm not going to do that because I just feel like we're too low in the daily level where it may get disrespected with 4 hours left. And as you see here, we do actually disrespect the level on the daily chart. And obviously, to be honest, even there you can see the experience in knowing how to trade and knowing my strategy. Where we do get engulfing, look how price sort of just doesn't do much after. Okay, you obviously ultimately you would have got stops below the low, but price doesn't really have any, immediate aggression to continue down. But obviously now the setup is invalid on the daily, so we can start to look for a new setup, which comes quite fast because obviously we like to trade from the most recent fair value gap that gets formed, which happens to be literally just above price, which is quite nice. It's happened nice and fast for us. And obviously now we can see markets sort of move into the downside, so we can actually start to form a bias to go bearish on top of the daily levels as well. Let's see what happens. We need some sort of liquidity sweep here. We do get it. No engulfing candle anyways. Not much going on here. Again, not much going on. Need some sort of London sweep. Okay, we get an engulfing candle, but it's not really one that you'd look to enter a short on. Potential could be here in New York, depending on if we tag into this level. Really, we want to see this level get tagged into on this New York session. Just like that. And again, like that. Obviously, there's going to be no setup here because it's getting too late. But if we respect the level, this next candle, which we do on the daily, we could potentially be forming a new sell for tomorrow. So let's see how this plays. Obviously, we're respecting this daily level. We are quite deep in the daily fair value gap, so we'll see how Asia plays out. That was obviously some sort of new week opening gap there as well. So we need some sort of liquidity sweep to the upside before we look to short here. Price doesn't look like it's giving that at the moment. These relative equal highs as well up here. Too clean for me. There you go. You get some move higher in New York. And now we're on to the next day. That level's still being respected, so we can still short. We need higher prices first. It's not happening at the moment. Okay, price doesn't seem to want to do that at the moment. Okay, let's see if we can get something in London here. Okay, we do get a engulfing candle to the downside here. Obviously, we do look like we started to make the move towards bearish prices. Daily level is obviously been respected on the daily time frame. Here we swept the previous New York's AM's high, Asia high. We got these highs here, which ain't that convincing for me, but I'm going to journal this one as if I would trade it because we have got the engulfing candle. You probably don't have to go to them highs that I just shown, so they could just be left behind. So this would be a 1 to 4. Let's see how this plays. See the reaction. See how that works. Right, not great reaction. This could be a New York setup. Right, so that would be a -1. Let's leave that on for a minute so I can journal it. Because I would have taken that, like I said. And look for the same setup but in New York now. Okay, we get an engulfing candle, but it's to the upside, so that's not what we want to see. We wanted it to go short. Okay, we start to come short at the end. Where are we at? 1 more hour. There's the move. So potentially there's still going to be room for a setup, and now we should have cleared a lot of it. Again, we sort of left relative equal highs, but let's journal this loss. So we got Wednesday the 30th of April at 3 a.m. 30th of April, Wednesday, 3 a.m. London, short, loss, -1R. And it was an engulfing candle. What's this? Oh, that's the YouTube link. And this is just a link of the screen. So we'll just pull that out just for the aesthetic reasoning. Screenshot it, add it in there. Just good to have, just in case you ever want to go back over it and see exactly what we did. Yeah, so realistically, the daily level still showing it's respecting this daily fair value gap. It's left relative equal highs up here, multiple of them. So I'm not majorly confident in going short, to be honest, unless that sort of happens. But now we're quite way above the daily level. London's now made that big bulk push. Yeah, and obviously now we disrespected that daily level for sure, to the upside. So smash through that, that becomes invalidated, and that means what I need to do here is this was an incomplete, it fouled. So what I mean by that is the daily level got ran through, so it was a fouled setup. This wasn't the next draw in the end. It was obviously some sort of level higher. So now we can just look for a new daily to a new daily internal to external level to look to chart off. Daily fair value gap. We can just go from there. It's going to be a couple minutes of silence, just doing something else. Probably skip a couple minutes forward. This is the thing, unfortunately, when you run multiple businesses and multiple things, when you're trying to do one thing, there's always noise coming from someone else. And I try to actually nullify that by like putting my phone on silent or just making sure that I'm not getting distracted. But unfortunately, it's something I have to give some attention for a couple of minutes. Shouldn't be long. I'll be back to the charts. Yeah, so let's continue to crack on. Hopefully we see some more a lot more trades, because the last couple pairs were quite short. This pair didn't have that many, this pair didn't have too many, EJ didn't have hardly any, so trading another pair against the JPY is quite good as well. At some point I'm going to have to test EU, because GU did have good results, and so did Euro GBP. So yeah, if this JPY pair doesn't do too well, then probably leave the back testing on that for a little while and just try the Euro USD. So let's see. London goes lower. That's what we want to see. Need to see some sort of. That's not it. Hopefully New York then goes a bit lower and then gives us the actual move. Again, doesn't have any liquidity sweep at the moment, so nothing for me. Okay, but we have now tagged that daily level, as I can show on here. Okay, so we've now tagged in, and obviously our draw is this external range up here, our closest external range level. And I would also be tempted to let runners run to this as well, relative equal highs. So yeah, so we can look for long positions now. And obviously, we just got to look to try and get into positions basically. Now here, going into London, the best situation would be that we clear this low and this low. Could take this, but I'm not too bothered as we was inside a fair value gap. So long as we get these levels taken or looking to go higher, I'd be happy with that in London. Just like that. It's quite an aggressive move down though. So getting an engulfing hand was looking unlikely at that point. New York comes in. And again, at this point here, going in, obviously, when a new day is going to form at 5, you've only got about, what's that, 7-8 hours before your daily level's going to be disrespected at this point. So you've got to be very careful when you're entering. It's obviously higher risk at this point. And as you can see, my whole point here is the level did get disrespected, and of course we didn't take any trades, so we didn't lose out. It just means that this wasn't the next draw at the moment. This daily level got disrespected on the daily time frame. Okay, so obviously what we thought was the next level to where price was going to go, it didn't. It came through and absolutely disrespected it. So now that whole setup would be invalid, and we'd be looking for the next daily level to form, which should probably be the next candle. Oh, no, it wasn't, because it did, in fact, look to go higher, but there's no daily fair value gaps until obviously this point here, which will be the next level that I'm going to look to trade from. So yeah, let's get this drawn on. This is quite sloppy. The PA here on this pair at this moment in time, as you can see, isn't great. It's kind of sideways here. It's not respecting levels. That's the whole point in backtesting, is to try and gain information of what pairs actually do respect the internal to external ranges. So start slicking through. London, we need some sort of sweep. Again, this is really crap PA, so you wouldn't really be looking to try and trade during that anyway. And I know there hasn't been many trades, but obviously, like I say, we trade every pair. So you wouldn't just be focusing on this pair, obviously, you'd be focusing on multiple pairs. You even mount up SMT with a different pair where price did tag in here before going lower. So yeah, but it looks like that isn't going to get respected at this point. Price has now come back to it. Does tag in here on this day. So let's see, is there anything on that 1 hour? As you can see, Asia, London, did we get any sweep? No, we left Asia high. We did engulf to the downside out of session. Again, nothing for me at that point. We've now tagged into it again. Asia session, London. Yeah, so we can start go lower. There's nothing for me here. I know on the daily time frame, yes, this is going to be quite clean because the internal to externals actually presented itself and played out. But let me get to the time. I'll show you. Obviously, we didn't have the 1 hour, so, and we haven't actually quite taken that low yet, but you can see that the daily level is respecting PA. But yeah, obviously there was no entry, as I shown on the 1 hour. There was nothing for me to get actually into the trade. We didn't really do. I mean, you did take here London, but again, it was out of session. New York didn't do much at all. This Asia session, I don't trade. So yeah, obviously with it being an Asian pair, you're probably going to see more setups during the Asia session, anyways. But yeah, we're going to continue on. I'm going to reset the chart here. So I'm getting a little bit distracted. Now that low did get taken, obviously we're looking for something new to look to trade on the daily level. Now we finally get that move up. And again, this is all quite sloppy. So obviously in real time, you probably would just avoid this pair altogether at that point, just so that you're not getting caught up in chop and all that other stuff. But yeah, we're going to go on to this next pair here and trade from that level, hopefully. This pair doesn't seem to really actually give much, which is something that I'm going to note down or have in the video as well. But it's just something, obviously, you might only get a few trades a year on this pair. Some pairs are going to be way more active than others. Obviously, each strategy is to their own. So some data from other strategies probably, might be a really good pair, this pair. But for the way we're looking at, we're trading at the moment, it doesn't seem that it is. Again, we need to tag into this daily level first before even thinking about looking to take a setup, which hasn't happened yet. And have we created a new daily level, or are we still trading off that one? We're trading off that one. We have sort of taken the high though without actually tagging in, so we'll keep that in mind, because I don't really like that. I'd rather prefer to see the high intact, if that makes sense. We need that level, which doesn't happen. If we pull price thing back to the time, on a daily chart, exactly. So this is what I mean. Like we have gone higher now. We took the previous day's high. We took this level as well, and we still haven't tagged in. So if price does come back now, the odds it does want to bounce from here. There could be an opposing one. For me, I'm just going to start moving forward on the daily. And there you go. It didn't come anywhere near it. So yeah, I'm going to have to cut this video half short because I've got something I need to do. So I'll continue off on Friday the 13th of June.